Empowering Rift versus Healing Rift. Both abilities are very potent. With the removal of Weapons of Light, or at least the lack of knowledge about any sort of Weapons of Light style buff, Empowering Rift is one of the only pure damage boosts in Destiny 2 that we know of right now. Naturally, this begs the question, which Rift should I use? Before we start, I know this is a premature video with it just being the beta and all, but I just wanted to give a little bit of insight. Well, for PvP, at least for the time being, I think it's going to be Healing Rift, and this is for a very simple reason. Empowering Rift provides a 20% damage boost, at least in PvE, roughly 20%. So the higher your damage capabilities in PvE, the more this is going to scale. In PvP, damage values are much lower, so you're not going to see as much of an effect as a result. For example, using the Nurgle PR4 Pulse Rifle in the beta, you deal 14 damage on a body shot and 21 on a headshot. Empowering Rift scales this to 17 on a body shot, which is mathematically sound, but it only boosts your crit 1 damage point to 22 when it should be about 4 damage to 25. Let's assume that players have 200 health. It would require 14.3 body shots to kill someone, or 15 shots. With Empowering Rift, this drops to 11.8 body shots, or 12, so 1 burst fewer. If we hit all headshots, we go from a non-empowered 9.5 shots, or 10, to an empowered 9.1 shots, or also 10. Now, armor, or resilience in Destiny 2, values vary across players, so there could be times where 9 headshots could kill a player if their resilience is low enough, which if we get 9 empowered headshots, we would deal 198 damage. However, we need to look at a couple of things, like probability and opportunity costs. How often do you think you'll be in the proper position to have a rift under you and also kill someone by hitting all 9 headshots in a row without missing? Well, if you're me, those odds are pretty darn low. If you're better than me, which according to most YouTube comment sections is nearly all of you, then the odds are a bit higher, but in my opinion, are probably not high enough. The opportunity cost is the loss of the Healing Rift. Now, we don't know what the final game is going to look like, but in the beta, health regeneration feels really slow, even if it might technically not actually be 100% of the time. So you're giving up the ability to heal much faster, not only for you, but for your team, for the ability to, on a very rare occasion, maybe kill a target 1 burst faster than you normally would. Obviously, there is more to the game than just that one pulse rifle, and I can go over examples of every single weapon in the game, their damage values, probability, and opportunity costs. But I think overall, Healing Rift is going to give you and your team more bang for your buck in PvP. PvE, this is a different story. In PvE, it really depends on your playstyle and your teammates' playstyles. Unfortunately, all we have to go on for PvE content is the Strike, which features a lot of movement and very few periods where you can simply sit still and shoot at a boss or an enemy. However, the only times you would really want to hunker down, at least in that Strike, and set up for some big damage, is against a boss. I will say that if you have both a Healing and Empowering Rift, that you should absolutely feel free to stack them if you're looking to drop some burst damage on a target or targets. You can stack a Healing and an Empowering Rift, but stacking 2 of the same rifts, or more, has no additional effect. Those trying to pull comparisons to Weapons of Light need to think of Empowering Rift a little differently. It's not exactly the Blessing versus Weapons comparison, because the difference there is mobility. With Blessing and Weapons of Light, you can dip in and out of a safe zone that you know is going to protect you with a buff that lasts quite a long time. Bosses in Destiny 1, at least as of recently, feature a lot of time where you can sit in a spot and shoot the boss fairly freely without the worry of death. In the limited amount of Destiny 2 PvE content we've gotten, this has been anything but. The Strike boss moves around a lot, and you as a player are almost punished for trying to pull Destiny 1 boss damage techniques. Although, I am trying to compare Strike bosses to Raid bosses, which work entirely differently to each other. I shouldn't be comparing them, and neither should you. Empowering Rift is really tiny, so is Healing Rift. and it locks you down to a very specific position. The second you need to abandon ship, that value is gone. So first and foremost, any sort of very aggressive play when trying to use Empowering Rift, at least so far, has felt like it's been punished in PvE. That would signal that more passive play or long distance play may be a safer bet, and my results have pointed in that direction. Using scout rifles and pulse rifles with Empowering Rift as opposed to submachine guns and auto rifles has yielded far better results. Not because those weapons are necessarily better, but because it allows you to rift up in a much safer location because those weapons aren't impacted by range nearly as much. We'll talk about this more in a future video, maybe, but when combined with the Titan short wall, your damage potential can get pretty high. So how about I actually answer the question, empowering versus healing in PvE? It's really going to depend on content and your playstyle. The more moving around you need to do, the less value both of them get. What's more damage, staying in an Empowering Rift for 10 seconds or staying in a Healing Rift for 15? What weapons are you using? What enemies are you fighting? What else do you need to do in the fight? There are many variables to dig through that there isn't really a one-fit-all answer. Both aggressive and defensive playstyles can make use of both rifts quite well, so I wouldn't say it's aggressive versus defensive, but maybe more, are you a proactive or reactive player? Reactive players might want to use healing, with proactive players using Empowering Rift. It is kind of early to start dishing out optimal DPS knowledge, even if I would like to do it regardless. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys on healing versus Empowering Rift. If you enjoyed this video, a positive rating would be great. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you next time.